How's it going? I just wanted to thank you guys for being here again. My name is Brandon. I live in Portsmouth, but I've lived in a lot of places in this country, including Ohio and Pennsylvania, obviously very important states and elections. And so I feel like I have different perspectives than a lot of people live in multiple places, but I have different perspectives. But in particular, I'm concerned with Gorsuch, as she mentioned, and namely because of things like the repeal of the Voting Rights Act, which anyone can state had a drastic effect in North Carolina, Wisconsin, on this past election. And so the Supreme Court in general is kind of something that's important to me, and I appreciate your work in the hearings, because my first and last question would have been, are you Merrick Garland? And when the answer was no, that would have been it. But so I'm kind of wondering, going forward, A, is there anything that you guys are doing or anyone's doing in regards to like a Voting Rights Act? Because obviously that was doing some good, and that Supreme Court setting a precedent that, oh, we don't need it anymore is obviously false. And then how are you going to combat that in regards to Gorsuch?
Well, the thing that we've done, that's been done most on that actually has not been done by Congress, it's been done by litigants. What the Supreme Court changed in Shelby County was it changed the pre-clearance requirement for states that had horrible histories of discriminating against minority voters, so that the state could go ahead and pass a voter suppression law, and then you had to litigate it. Beforehand, you had to bring your voter suppression law to either the Department of Justice or a special court in Washington and get it cleared in advance to show that it wouldn't have a pernicious effect. So of course it had that effect, and the local newspapers and the courts said they came up with laws that with surgical precision went after voters likely to vote Democratic. They lost. And that's going to continue to pile up. They lose and they lose and they lose. The problem for us has been, between the time that they pass the law and the time that the court finally says, that's just voter suppression, that's not fair, they are able to suppress voters. And they're willing to do it for an election or two. They're willing to make that effort because that's the way they roll.